Did y'all get that reference? I hope y'all did. Okay, so welcome back to another YouTube video. It's JVids. I got on here to talk about a story time. Okay, so let me go ahead and adjust myself. We're gonna get into it in just a second. Hold on. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm so dressed up. So, I only dressed up to be extra and to be a little bit petty, but it's mainly just extra dramatic petty, whatever you think of it. Because I was about to fall in a potential scam in a business mindset, or a potential loss or a potential gain in a business, from a business perspective. So now I'm here today in Business Attire to show y'all how to not fall into a trap like how I almost did. And maybe it wasn't even a trap, but I just wanted to get on here and tell y'all my story. Before I even get into the story time, I'm going to leave the person confidential because, I don't want no problems, okay? I connected with this guy on LinkedIn about 5 months ago, and I didn't think nothing of it because he was a KSU alumni. So I'm like, okay, KSU alumni, we have that similarity. So I went ahead and connected with him on LinkedIn. So I'm like, okay, because I'm trying to build my network on LinkedIn. Will I ever reach out to you? Probably not. I'm just trying to build that connection. Okay. So, come to find out, maybe like a few months later, about 2 weeks ago, he reaches out to me. And I'm like, okay. Because I read the message, and he was basically saying he's trying to he made a plan to network with alumni in the campus. So I was like, okay, I don't mind networking. So whenever you get a chance, let's network. So we end up like exchanging numbers. And then we finally got on a call. The call was I'd say about 25 to 30 minutes. But he was really just trying to understand like where I was mentally as far as like post grad, like what I was trying to do. And y'all know I'm all over the place. So y'all know I be trying to chase like 2 or 3 dreams all at once.
I know that's right.
Okay. So I was just mainly explaining that to him, like, I don't have my set priority in a particular direction. If that's what you're asking, I don't have myself set in a particular direction. So I do this, I do this, I do that. But I'm trying to find a way to merge like those 2 or those 3 passions together all into one. Right? So, yeah, so then he was like, okay. So, and here is where I didn't raise red flags, but I was trying to like hear him out. Because, it's always a kick. It's always a kick. You always got to look out for them kicks. So I was trying to hear him out, right? And then he was like, how do you feel have you ever looked from a business perspective? Have you ever thought about growing your own business? I'm like, well, yes. It started off as like he was gonna connect me with a few people or that was his friends, to network and like I guess help me find a job. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. Help me find a job, because I'm still trying to find a job, y'all, in my field. That's in my degree. So yeah, I'm still trying to find a job. But yeah, so I'm over here thinking he's gonna help me. So I'm like, okay. So he focuses on that, but then he kind of like he does that to begin with, like on the first call. So he ended up reaching out to me again about positions that I can look at. Because he was like, this is my friend that's a recruiter. Is there anything that stands out to you? And from my perspective, nothing stood out to me. So I was like, no, nothing really stands out to me. And then on top of that, like, the drive, based off of where I stay, like, the drive was going to be like almost an hour and a half to get to work. And then I think one of the trainings said like it'll be like almost 2 hours away. And that was one of the positions I was slightly interested in. So I'm up here, I does my research. So I'm up here doing my research. They said they only get paid an amount that I wasn't comfortable overstressing my vehicle. So I'm like, no. And there's nothing wrong with my vehicle. I just don't want to overstress it. Like, I just don't. It gotta make sense for me to travel that far. In other words, I didn't see the point of settling for a position I knew I wasn't looking for that direction when it came to my job career. So, and then on top of that, the travel for the pay. So I was just like, I don't think it's worth traveling that far for the amount of pay that I saw online based off of my research. So that is another reason why I was like, no. So after the first phone call that we had, he encouraged me to read a book, because after we was talking, we had a great conversation on the phone, by the way. So we had every single call was good. Like, the things he was saying were the things that I was aligning with in my personal life as a personal goal and stuff like that. So we were aligning, like we were agreeing. So it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. He was asking, does this align with your goals, or is that something you see? And of course I agree, because it's like, okay, you just low-key motivated me to focus on my business perspective side of that I was trying to do as far as like my career. So I'm like, yeah. So he encouraged me to read this book. So the book was called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It was very encouraging. I was like, oh wow, this gave me a very different perspective. So I was very like I was very much enjoying the read. So he encouraged me, like, after the call, to read the first 2 chapters, and then we'll get back and discuss the first 2 chapters. So that's what I did. I read the first chapter, y'all. Ooh! I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I read the first chapter, and I read a little bit of the second chapter. But I basically got like the gist of the story. And yeah, it was basically like encouraging folks to look at the small things. Look at the small things in life. But okay, I'm getting distracted. Back to the story. Okay. So after I read the book, we set up a Zoom call. On the Zoom call, it was going well. And then like I basically just told him what I thought about the book. And then he was like, yeah. Like he sounded like very excited. So then that's when he pulled out a PowerPoint slide. And then I was like, a PowerPoint slide? I thought we was networking. And you was trying to help me like do both things at the same time, like find a job and do this. So yeah, he pulled out a PowerPoint slide, and then it just showed like 4 key pointers about like what type of mindset you need to have when you're trying to develop a business. And of course, I was like, okay, I'm just nodding my head, nodding and smiling, agreeing. Okay, I'm like, yeah. We get to like maybe he skipped over a few slides because I guess he was saving it for our next meetup. So, which I didn't go to, by the way, but he was setting it up for our next meetup. So he was trying to prepare me for the next meetup that we were supposed to have if I continued. But he was setting me up for that kind of like that mindset to get me ready, prepared for like the next steps. And then, but I think during the slide is when I noticed the brand that I seen before and never seen again. And that was the red flag. That was like the minor red flag. I was like, he had XS Energy on the slide. Y'all, I haven't seen XS Energy since I was in middle school, and them folks was like dangerously promoting it in middle school. It's like stuff is full circle. So he was like, "Have you seen any of these products before?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen XS Energy. Isn't that like an energy drink company?" He was like, "Yeah." So basically, you'll have your own share of the business, and you'll have a partnership with the business, and you'll be selling digital products. I said, "Okay." Like, it's just all processed and slow. I'm like, it sounds great, but like, so on that same slide, he said, "So the company is called Amway. Have you heard of Amway?" I said, "I've never heard of that company. I really haven't. I don't know nothing about that company." I didn't say that, but I don't know nothing about that company. So I'm like, "No, I never heard of it." So I guess that was leverage. So he started like saying like, "Yeah, so it's Amway, this, that, and the third." He just still explaining stuff. And I started asking questions. I said, "Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So, is this a business development program? Like, what exactly are you signing me up for? Like, what exactly am I getting myself into?" He was like, "Yeah, it's a business development program, but it's one of those things where like first when he signs people up, he gets bonuses, and then like it's like a little, you know, you know what I'm trying to say without trying to say it. It's one of them, like, you start off probably right here, but the money that you make, most of your money is probably going." Okay. So he was low key saying everything before I even like got into the next step. So, I'm like, "Okay, well, I need time to think about it." And then he was like, "Okay, yeah, take your time, think about it." Um, because he was like, "Where do you get your local news from?" Yeah, I tell stories all over the place. I don't even know why I decided to do this. But he was like, "Where do you get your local news from?" And I was like, "Or where do you hear like most of your news from?" I was like, mm, "Mainly TikTok. Mainly TikTok." Come to find out, TikTok was going to be my savior. Y'all, after we slowly start to wrap up the call, right? Um, he said he was going to like send some podcasts that I could listen to, and then by our next hangout, we'll actually like set a meeting up in person. And I'm like, "Okay." I'm still neutral about it. I'm like, "Okay." So as soon as I get off the call, I did my research on the Amway. Why the biggest words, the most common conception words, or the most common words that I've heard was scam, cult, MLM, run. What else can I say? I don't know. But those were the major things I noticed. So then that's when I went to go on TikTok and did my research there. And let's just ask the audience.
Don't you just hate it when you shopping at Publix and a guy comes up and tells you he likes your shoes and he likes your clothes and where you get it from, and you tell him, and then he asks what you do, and then you tell him, and you proceed to naturally ask him what does he do because he has a suit on and he looks like he's your age? And then he tells you he does e-commerce and sales, and that he's going to retire his mom in 2 years from this, and that he's making great money from it. So then naturally, you're like, how do I get in a position like that? Because he does say he does it on his own time. And he tells you that there's a business meeting coming up. You should go to it. So then you go to the meeting with a bunch of people that don't know what the hell is going on there. And the guy up front is saying how he was broke before and now he's rich. And he bought his mom a house and his house for his family and all of this and everything. And he said the way to do it is to be a part of a group of 10 at first. And you make sales selling energy drinks or anything. And an example is to sell an energy drink to a guy at the gym, as if anybody will fall for that. And only a percentage of that sale will go to you, and the rest of it will go to, the majority will go to the group leader. And then that group leader is also a part of a group of 10. And then it all funnels up to one guy at the top and proceeds to say, this is not a pyramid scheme. I just hate it when that type of stuff happens to me, you know?
Amway is a giant scam and they need to be shut down. First fact is only 1.7% of people doing Amway will ever make a profit from it, and half of those would have made more money just working a minimum wage job. Second is 75% of people to do Amway report that they actually lost a friend in the process because they didn't want to be scammed. And third...
Okay, so y'all seen the videos. I'm like, I can't do this. Because I noticed that they're asking, like, I know what the next steps is. If I go in person, I'm starting to put 2 and 2 together. If I go in person to meet this man, he gonna set me up for something. He gonna be like, it's gonna be 200 and something. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It's gonna be 200 and something to build your, or get your share and all of that. So, yeah, and I've seen other things basically saying, like, folks had cut off their family members and friends for this, all because they don't want to buy their product or get into certain things. Y'all, I love my family and I love my friends. I will not trade anything in the world for them. Okay, my loyalty is to my family and my friends. Yes, I want money. But all money is not good money. If I got to do that to get money and it's high risk, low return, I don't think I need to be doing it. So it's where you like put a small amount of money or a large amount of money into a business to get digital sales, and you got to reach out to other people to get that, I guess, the bonus for you. That's how you make your money, by actually selling the product. But some way, somehow, now I don't have all the answers to this, that money, you don't see much money because the money is going to someone who's like higher up on that pyramid scheme. Now, I could be wrong about this company, but this is based off of the research that I saw. And I felt like if I'm already trying to develop myself to find something better, like if I'm trying to work forward, not backwards. So I don't want to invest my money into something where I'm spending a whole bunch of money to see little return, and I end up like losing friends in the process, losing family members, all because they don't want to buy my digital product. No. And then I noticed, like, off of the videos that I saw, they were saying that they typically get people that's like vulnerable. It don't matter who you are. They come out to people in Walmart, Target. You could be at your job. You could be at your job and they like walking up to you. Like, yeah, so I would say be careful for this scam. I don't know if it's a scam, but it sounds like a scam to me. If it look like and it act like, then it bark like, okay? So, yeah, don't fall for this. And I just wanted to be the person who to get the information to y'all first. And I also heard that they have the same script. So they be saying they're trying to retire their parents, make enough money to retire their parents, cutting they members off, like their family members off. He didn't say none of that, but he did say something about like trying to have a second side of income. Share based off of the stuff that I saw, my evidence off of TikTok and Reddit, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to put myself in a situation that to lose more than I see. And you could call it sacrifice, but that don't sound like sacrifice to me. That sounds like somebody making money. And then I did some research, right? And the shared book link I found was tied to a different name. So I did my research. I did my little one too. Okay. That's yeah. So I did my little research, and I found out that that person. I was trying to see, like, if that person put that company on their LinkedIn. Ooh. They didn't. What type of under the table stuff are y'all doing? If it's your business, if you're selling digital marketing, if you're selling e-commerce, why is it not only on your LinkedIn, but it's also not on the person you got the shared book link from? I do my research. Sounds a little sketchy to me. But I'm not on here to be messy. I'm not on here to be messy, y'all. Ugh. I just saw a lot of mixed reviews. He also mentioned the link where the podcast came from. It was something called Legacy Leadership. So I'm guessing that's like a app for business developers. So what he was trying to do is to get me like into his crew. And what they were going to do is like set me up for maybe success, maybe failure. But I didn't want to know. I don't want to know. I did my research. I'm good. So Amway is basically digital marketing and like e-commerce. So it was like I was gonna have a partnership with a digital marketing program, which is e-commerce. But yeah, yeah, I just heard a lot of mixed reviews. That's it. But yeah, next time, be careful. I would say learn from my mistakes or learn from my lessons. They're not mistakes. Don't learn from my experience. How about that? Yeah, learn from my experience. And I just wanted to let y'all know so y'all don't have to go through what I potentially went through. And I always like to leave with words of encouragement, but this one might be a little petty. Okay. It's very important to not put your full trust into men because, from my perspective, allowing a man into my circle has always backfired. Always. If they weren't trying to be friends, it always backfires. So, what I'm trying to say is, all of the root of my problems has always started because I involved a man. So, what am I saying? Something like that. Something like that. But what I'm saying is, be careful about the men that you trust. I don't know if that's words of encouragement, but yeah. Have you noticed that all roots? I know I'm a man too, but have you noticed that most of the problems that women have is because of a man? So if 2 + 2 is 4, never put your trust in a man fully. Okay? I would like to thank y'all for tuning in. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. JViz3. I mainly post dance videos on here. Stuff related to Marvel content is coming soon. But I like to switch it up every now and then, and I just wanted to get the information out there so y'all can know. Okay. Thank y'all for watching the whole video. Stay tuned for more. I got a lot coming out. So, peace.